It's Friday. How's everybody doing on Friday? It's cool. Jacob's back in Washington. Disneyland's
Yep.
over.
I am back in Washington. Where are you at? You look like you're in a desert somewhere.
I'm at a soccer tournament in Los Angeles. So
that's okay. Desert.
yeah, it looks like a desert. I'll show you the soccer fields. The soccer fields are.
You must be. You're not gonna make a quick stop at Disneyland while you're there?
No, I just left Puerto Vallarta. I'm getting tired of sleeping out of my suitcase. I gotta do laundry. Things are not looking so good, or smelling so good. That's good. All right, on. Welcome, Terry Gross.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. Where are you guys from?
Well, we live in Oahu, but we're currently in San Diego.
Oh, you guys are in San Diego?
Yeah, we're here for a wedding right now. Yeah.
That's
so we're
hilarious.
living out of a suitcase also.
Yeah, that's where we're at. We're in actually Carlsbad, so just north.
Oh, okay, nice.
Oh, that's close.
Wait, are you playing soccer or?
I coach, so it's my son's team.
Okay, gotcha. Awesome.
We both play soccer. So.
Yeah,
you do.
We actually met playing soccer.
Oh, well, that's fun. Soccer players turn real estate investors. Is that how it rolls?
Yeah, that's how it works.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, we should all do a pickup game sometime.
I'm down. We're always down to play.
It's always fun. What's really sad is that the young kids now like totally school me. It's so sad.
Oh yeah. I play in Miso, and I'm playing with like all 18-year-old kids and stuff like that. So I'm like at that age now where can't do it no more.
Right. But in our heads we can, and we're like
in my head, yeah. My mind's
like,
telling me yes, but my body's telling me no.
Right. For 3 days later, when you're icing things up that you didn't know were actually body parts, you're just like, yeah, no.
Right.
Not this.
I just sit in a big tub of ice these days after practice every day.
Oh, that's smart. That's awesome. Well, welcome. Have a good time at the wedding in San Diego. The weather's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's warm out here.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Well, it's perfect too. Terry and Nicole, right?
Yeah.
So we'll open up to you guys actually because they have something they wanted to share to the group. But
okay.
Right on, guys. Thanks for jumping on.
No problem. We're excited to be here. We're especially excited because we got our start about 5 years ago in a networking group that was exactly like this one. When we first started, we were sitting in the same seat with Jason Lum and Ryan Kamamoto, and we had 2 properties or 3 properties, and then now we're doing like 50 plus a bunch of long-term properties as well. So I'm a real estate broker with Novation Realty. We focus on short-term vacation rentals in Waikiki. We only work with legally zoned properties, so like the Hawaiian Monarch, the Aqua Palms, all the properties that are not part of this Bill 41 situation. So and we've started about 5 years ago. Again, we do short-term management. We operate a little bit different than a lot of other property managers because we use software that maximizes our owners' properties. So we use software that books on like 8 different systems at one time. So at one time, we're on Airbnb, VRBO, HomeAway, all those guys. And when one county gets blocked up, it blocks everything else. And then we kind of have a revolving system. So if somebody were to call, we have 24-hour phone support. We have 24-hour messaging support. Accounting gets cycled after every single booking. So we're really excited to be here, and we're really excited to get to this point. Again, we started about 4 or 5 years ago, just with 2 properties. And it was just kind of like an idea. It literally started with Nikki and I cleaning units with, a bunch of old linens and bags. And then, now we're doing like 15 to 20 cleanings in a day with the office and a huge staff of cleaners. And,
That's awesome.
And and then we brought in investors. We're very investor focused. So what we do is we work with investors before they even get into the market, and we kind of share what the actual numbers are. So on our website, we share what the occupancy rate currently is, what the nightly rate currently is per building. So you can see what it is, minus the taxes and our management fees. So you kind of get a really good idea of what you're looking at before you get into the system.
Are you able to drop your website in the chat?
Yeah,
Harry?
we can. Yeah,
And
yeah.
what is this, your guys' software, or is it a third party?
So we use a third-party software, but over the years we've found what works. So we use different softwares and they all work at the same time. So, the booking software is one thing, and then we have software that does the messaging, the guest complaints, all that kind of stuff. It's all kind of tied into one thing. And
Interesting.
over the years we've found what works. We've tried systems that did not work at all, and we've gotten to the point where we figured it out. So it works really well. But the biggest thing for us is we like to share raw data, the rates, the cap rates, all that kind of booking revenue stuff. So, before you guys even think about talking to a sales agent to get involved in this type of business, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into.
Love it.
Again, yeah, I'm kind of the front end guy, and then this is my wife,
I'm the
Nicole.
software person. Yeah.
My wife Nicole is a software person, so she's helping with all the back end stuff, and she should be happy to share what you guys do on the back end side.
Yeah. So short-term
Well, I'll what we want to do, guys, is I'll have I want to bring you guys on another time to talk about the software in full, because I feel like that's what would do it justice, and that way we can have everyone ask Q&As, because I think especially like people going into the short-term vacation rental space, like you said, the value in the data alone is huge, right? Like I mean, if you want to identify certain markets, or if you have a deal that would have to be an STR, you want to know, and it's a new market for you. You want to confirm all the numbers that maybe the agents and the brokers are telling you, right? And if you guys are managing through the software and collecting the data over the years, I think that's hugely valuable. And then also the automation of the software, of course. But
yeah. So on our website, we have a potential income chart page, and that what I do is I break down each building that we manage in, and it shows what the occupancy rate is and what the nightly rate is, and it kind of gives you a snapshot idea of what you're looking at. So that's going to be a great start. And then we're building out actually raw data. So we have software that does our pricing algorithms for us, and what it does, it takes data from last year, and it's going to take data from this year, and then it's going to give you a best occupancy rate per building. And it's going to break it down into a graph. And what we're doing is we're taking that info and putting it on the potential income chart. So it's going to be almost like the stock exchange, where you can actually see what the nightly rates are doing per month and per season and per year. So you really get a good idea of what's going on. A lot of this info real estate agents can't really provide, because they're more involved in just selling the property to you. But I think we're the first company that I've seen that's actually given out the raw data, so you guys can kind of see what's going on.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and I can drop that as well in the chat so you guys can take a look. But we're working on it right now. It's not ugly, but it's not pretty, because we just did the data first, and then I'm working on finishing it up and adding sample owner statements and all that stuff.
Well, congratulations, guys. It sounds like you kind of put it all together. So
it's been a journey, definitely. When we first started, we went from like 3, and then we joined the networking group, and we got like 15 units like immediately, and it was like, oh my god. So we were having to clean everything ourselves, and then eventually over time we hired cleaners and hired staff and got an office and all that kind of stuff. So we'd be happy to go over our journey with you guys.
Yeah, of course. Well, let's sidebar and see if we can get you on for a future Friday.
Sounds good.
But in the meantime, if you can please leave the link in
we'll do that right now.
We'd love to check it out for sure, with the understanding that it's still the design, right?
I'm working on it.
The website is done. It's actually completely done, and we've hired web developers in the past that have really built out the system, so we can actually get direct bookings through our website. But for the first couple of years, everything was word of mouth, and then now it's like we're getting in front of people like you guys who actually want to see what the cap rates look like and all that kind of stuff. So we're trying to build out that info so you guys have a better idea of what we're looking at.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Terry. Thank you, Nicole. Yeah,
No
please
problem.
leave your the website in the chat for everyone to look at.
Sure.
And we'll sidebar and hopefully
Sounds
get you guys on a week.
Cool. We're excited.
Awesome.
Woo! Awesome.
That sounds great, actually. Yeah. So anyone in the SDR space, let's go check it out.
I've got some clients I can refer to, so send me a message when you guys get a chance.
Yeah,
awesome.
definitely. We'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to hearing more.
Yeah, we have a few
yeah,
people who are heavy in the STR space, actually. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. I mean, is we did our first group. It was called the Guerrilla Networking Group, and we've got 2 people already that bought in multiple properties, and I think we have a fourth. Actually, it's third person coming in that's buying 2. So it's a great thing. But you know, the biggest thing is if you have it under control, you have the system under control, the bookings and the counting, then it's very smooth. And you know, to be honest with you, I worked at locations before this, and I saw a need for this because there's a lot of short-term property managers, but nobody's really doing it the right way. And the year end comes around and they didn't pay the transient tax or the general excise tax, or they're managing in buildings that are illegal, all those types of things. So we've kind of set everything straight, I think. So we're definitely the go-to people to talk to about this.
Right on, guys.
Yeah.
Well, and that reminds me, I spoke at the other event on the west side, and there was a question that was asking, they asked if like what is a big thing that you want to do before going into the STR space, or what was what is a good point of advice? And for me, the advice would be to like shore up the logistics first. You know, that is definitely a business that you don't want to dive in, like that you don't want to fire, ready, aim, you know, like how we usually do it, you know, because I hated that business. Like I did it totally wrong. You guys did it right. I did it wrong. I just jumped right in. I ended up taking the 12 a.m., you know, plumber calls and all that.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so
We've lived that life for
this
years.
is necessary.
Yeah, we lived that life for years where it's like 3 a.m. booking, and we wake up and we're taking the booking and stuff like that. And you know, it's gotten to the point where if like a plumbing issue comes at 1 a.m, it gets sent to our phone lines, and our phone lines dispatch for us. You know, if it's an electrical issue, it gets dispatched. You know, if a booking comes at 6 a.m. from Australia, it gets booked in less than 5 seconds. So we have a team that actually takes everything right away. So we take it on, even last second booking. So if a person comes in tonight and they want it in the next 30 minutes, we can have it cleaned up and ready to go for you. So.
Awesome, guys. Well, I'm opening the site now, so we'll definitely take a look at it. But why don't we today is actually pretty awesome, I feel, because we have a very special guest. And Kiko, I don't know if you want to introduce her. Yeah. She feels like a kind of family already because we met kind of through this call, right?
Zasha, I think Zasha gets one of the prizes for like the OGs, like the original Coffee Talk members, you know, like we've been going at it now since 2020. And I think she has been around since like the very beginning. So she was an early adopter, always adds value every single time, which is cool. And you know what's cool about her story? I don't know if you know this, Corey, but she grew up actually kind of in housing. So she didn't grow up wealthy. She didn't have a ton of money to work with. She literally is self-made, and she's a hustler. Just love her story. And what I think is cool too is that she actually leveraged social media. She's got like over 100,000 followers on social media. And through her social media, she's raised tons of money for deals. And so I think she's going to be able to share a little bit of insight to all of us who are trying to figure out how best to leverage social media, how to be a woman entrepreneur, how do you come from whatever circumstance you're in life, and how do you make the most of it and become uber successful like she is. And she's got multiple rentals on Maui, and she's in syndications now. So she's kind of like everything that everybody would love to be one day, kind of a thing, all in one person. And so with that, I don't know, you want to add anything else, Corey, to the introduction?
Well, yeah, and it's just inspiring to watch because, and I know my first question for you, Zasha, sorry, but I think like just watching you grow your business over time, and not just that, but grow into someone who's influential now in our space, and someone who has a story to share for other local entrepreneurs and, you know, women entrepreneurs and mom entrepreneurs, right? Because that's a hard gig, and how to balance that and, you know, all that. So Zasha, it's been a pleasure truly having you in our network and meeting you, you know, 2.5 years ago, going on 3 years through this call. And thank you so much for coming on as our guest. Zasha Smith, everybody.
Zasha!
Happy Aloha Friday!
Happy Aloha Friday, Zasha. First question is, how did you even come to the call like 2.5 years ago?
Well,
And then I want to know from day one, how did you get started in real estate?
Yeah, so I hopped on the call. It was 2020, right? The world shut down, and the only way we could really connect was through the internet. And so I started finding out that you guys are starting a bunch of people. Steve Rosenberg has started like a free mastermind for people. You guys had started Coffee Talk because you guys couldn't have in-person stuff. So a lot of people started virtual meetups. And so I think I was always inspired. I actually reached out to you. I remember in 2019 when I was still at my job. I remember I went outside on my lunch break to give you a call after I heard you on Bigger Pockets, found you on social media, like found your number somehow. And I was like, I got to connect with this guy. He's from Hawaii. He's making it work. Like I know I can do this too. And so I remember calling you and you just gave me some great advice. And I think you really inspired me or one of the people that have inspired me to just go full force in and believe in myself, and that, it's really all about your mindset. And I think a lot of people, that word gets thrown around a lot, but I think you can literally do whatever you put your mind to. And I mean, I think I'm one of the proofs, you're one of the proofs, but you don't think it's really that much of a mental game. You think, okay, how much money do I need? I need deals and things, but it's the perseverance through anything in life that will help you to become successful. And so I think I connected with you on that route, how much of a go-giver you are, and hopped on the calls and just, wanted to connect with other people that were doing things that I wanted to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so Zasha was just actually recently on Bigger Pockets podcast, right? What episode was yours?
668. So I have a little presentation that I wanted to share as well. That
Sheena, can we
go into that?
You have controls?
Yep, she does.
Perfect.
Okay. Can you guys see this?
We see it.
Okay. Present. Okay. So a little bit of what I wanted to go over is leveraging social media for real estate investing and how you can create income and impact virtually. This is my website, @invested_Zasha. Everywhere online is kind of my handle. If you guys want to look me up. I'm going to start off just with a little story, just about, for those who don't know me, my name is Zasha Smith. I grew up on Maui. I'm the bottom right. Some people thought it was the middle, but that's my beautiful, amazing mom and my brother, my sister. While we're growing up, we lived in low-income housing. My mom was a single parent. She went through foreclosure, divorce, you name it, financial struggles. And that really taught me to be mindful of money, finances, income, expenses from a very young age. I never thought I could go to college, or I thought, I was working at, I don't know if you guys remember, if you're from Maui, Spencer Gifts in Kahumanu Mall. I used to work there during high school. And I thought, after high school, I'm just going to work at the mall and, try to help my mom out. But I think all throughout our life, I always had that in the back of my mind, was like, how am I going to help my mom? How am I going to help my family? And so while I was going through school at Maui High School, one of my videography teachers, he used to let me take home like those big Apple computers, because they never had a computer at home, and let me stay later at school to do projects. And so he seen a lot of potential in me. And he was like, dude, you need to go to college. I was like, I can't afford to go to college. And back then they didn't really have like college fairs. I'm not that old, but like it wasn't as open as it is now. And so I talked to the college counselor and my videography teacher put together $25 each. And they're like, here, you can apply to one school. The application fee is $50. Here you go, like pick one. So I ended up like going down the map. I was like, hey, I want to get off this rock. I want to do something, big. I don't know what it is going to be. And so California had similar weather. So I was looking, they're like, okay, all the Cal State universities are still accepting applications, looking up and down. I was like, oh, Long Beach. Snoop Dogg is in Long Beach. I think I want to go there. So that's literally how I decided what college to pick. I had no idea what it was. I went in with liberal arts. And then on my second year, I ended up having my first daughter. And it was a struggle at the time, but then that gave me a bigger reason why. Like, why do I have to finish? Why do I have to keep going? It's because of her. And even though it was hard, I used to have like those beach cruiser bikes, and I had a baby seat in the back. And at the time I became a single mom too. And I would bike her to school, to campus. Luckily, they had a daycare on campus for faculty and students. And so I'd drop her off, go to class, pick her up, like ride my little bike. Now looking back, it was cute, but during that time, it was a little rough. But that just made, just built in more grit and perseverance, and gave me deeper meaning to why I needed to level up and be successful. And so I started working part-time at the College of Engineering as a counselor, because my whole goal was to help people. So I worked with people who were getting bad grades. We try to keep them on par. And I ended up helping out some of them with their homework. And so my boss was like pro women engineers. She's like, why don't you go into engineering? And I was like, oh, I'm not that smart. Like, engineers are super smart. And she's like, no, you're already helping them, take some classes. So I ended up taking some math classes, and I really liked it. Like, I found out that I am the type of person that is 1 + 1 = 2. In psychology, it's like, is the sky blue or green or purple, or what do you think? And it's like, okay, what's the answer? Just let me know what I'm supposed to know. So got into that, graduated with my bachelor's in civil engineering. I'm the first out of my family to graduate with a bachelor's, a college degree, and ended up moving back home. And I knew that to move back home, to afford to live in an expensive market, you had to be a doctor, an engineer, lawyer, or something, right? And so I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm an engineer, so I'll make good money, move back home. I started working, I think I started at like 60,000. And then that time, it was 2019. So, 2009. So that's like when the market was crashing. It was really hard to get jobs, and they were starting hire before, but now they were like cutting back. So I was just thankful to have a job at that point. And then when I went to go apply and actually look for a house to buy, everything, like, I didn't qualify for anything. And so I told my mom, hey, we're both renting. Why don't we buy a house together and see how it goes, start building wealth for our family. And so we bought a duplex. And I forgot what it was like to live back with your mother. We weren't in the same unit, but she was right there. So she ended up moving to Molokai anyway. I ended up renting out her side, renting out a room in my side, before I knew like house hacking was a thing. I just was doing it because I was very aware of my expenses. And I always was like, okay, I want 50% to go to savings, and I want 50% to be in my expenses. So without like being a budgeter or getting into like finances, I just was always mindful of that. And so we ended up selling that property. And when we sold it, we made 300,000, so 150 each. And I was like, oh my God, how much taxes am I gonna have to pay on this? Like, I was thinking, I hear online all the time, it's like 40 or 50%, you gotta pay taxes. And then come to find out, because it was our primary residence, we didn't have to pay any tax. And so I was like, there's like something to this real estate thing. Like, how can I make 150,000 tax free? Like, that's crazy. And so I didn't really look deep into it, but the next year I bought a fixer upper with my husband. And we were looking at like ones in like Maui-Lani, so brand new subdivision ones. It was like 700,000, you get 4-bedroom, 2,000 square feet. And then I was like, I don't know, but what if you die? Or like, what if something happens to me? And so I was like, okay, let's look for something a little bit more affordable, maybe something we have to fix up, or something, so we drive to this fixer upper, and kid you not, my husband was like, no, we're not buying this. I said, babe, just look at the potential. Like, we could save, we're buying this house at like 400, right? And then we could put some money into it, work and sweat equity. And then, we wouldn't have to worry about having such a high mortgage. So eventually I convinced him. We bought it. We ended up doing a BRRRR on it without renting it, but we ended up buying it at 400,000, or 413. We spent about 80 to fix it up. And then I went to the bank, and that was like basically all my money I made from my first home, that 150. I just threw it into this home. And I was talking to one of the ladies at Bank of Hawaii, and I was like, oh, Auntie, man, like, I don't even have a savings anymore. I'm not used to this. Like, what if something happens? And she's like, oh, why don't you do a HELOC or cash out refinance? And I was like, what is that? So it was like more so I was curious and asked the right questions to the right people. So she guided me like to the mortgage lender person, and I went through that process. And I was like, we did the refinance, the house appraised at 750 like 6 months later. And it just opened my eyes to a whole nother world. So we got all of our money back, then had a 100K HELOC on top of that. That I was like, shoot, let's start using this, and let's start buying something, you know, rentals or something. But I still didn't understand like how you qualified, how all these people were getting all these rentals. And at the time as well, I was working full-time as a civil engineer. We had 2 kids at the time, and I was working 60 to 70-hour weeks. Like I was busting my ass, like it was hard. And my husband is a plumbing contractor, and he was like, you know, he didn't mind stepping in, but literally like I would leave the house at 6:30. I would come home at 7. I would be dead tired. He'd had like cooked dinner, you know, fed the kids, got them ready for bed. And he was like, you know what, I don't mind doing this, but I don't want to do this forever. Like we miss you, and we want you to be present whenever you're home. And so that kind of like hit my heart a little bit. And it was a wake-up call to me, because whenever I go after something, I'm full force, like I'm dedicated, but not
vision, yeah.
Right, not to the expense of my family. So that kind of took me back. And I remember this quote that he told me. It's like, we're getting the rest of you and they're getting the best of you. So I was like, oh shoot, okay, got to recenter, you know, like really step back from this. And then I was like, you know what, I just got to quit. I got to quit my job. I'm getting paid, you know, $70,000 at that time a year. Started Googling like how to quit your job, get rich, you know, what typical people do. And so a lot of people were like involved in real estate. And so I started thinking like, how are these people buying all these rentals? Like they must make millions of dollars or something. Stumbled upon Bigger Pockets, you know, found your episode, found Corey's episode on there, just listened in, and I was like, okay, I can do this. I got this. I started just networking with other people, other investors on Maui, seeing what they were doing. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to buy stuff. Like, I just need to start to take action. I bought my first rental and first flip off the MLS. They were both, one was a tired landlord, one was a foreclosure. And so put in offers, got those. I looked at the flip and I was like, okay, wait. We got it at like around 300,000. I looked on Zillow, mind you, I don't have my real estate license or anything like that. Looked on Zillow and I was like, okay, it's a condo. I was like, another condo in the same complex sold for $475,000. I was like, hey, it can't take $175,000 to fix it up. So, you know, I might make some money. So that's how I approached it before, because I didn't have any calculators. I wasn't in any mentorship or anything like that, but I was just using pure logic. And so this is like inspiration for those who have like, what is it called? Analysis paralysis. It's like, if the numbers true, if there's a big enough spread, it's going to work out somehow. You might make some mistakes along the way where you could have saved money, but overall you probably make money. So that I netted 103,000 in 45 days. It took 30 days to fix up the condo, and then 15 days to sell to a cash buyer. So it's a condo in Kihei. There's a lot of retirees there as well. And so there's a lot of cash buyers like cashing out their retirements or using their savings to buy condos out there. Beautiful view. And one of the other things I can attest to is like, I've lived in condos. So I know the pluses that people will pay extra for. One, if you have a yard that has a beautiful view. So it was a foreclosure, it was overgrown. And I went and walked around the building and seen that it looked out to a banana patch. Like the sunset was amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, I bet you nobody's seen this. And even when you went to go visit the condo, there's 2 parking spaces. So when you come in, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is a 2-bedroom condo and there's 2 parking spaces. A lot of times they'll have 1 parking space. Somebody got to park outside. And then also to the left was a fire lane. So you don't have to worry about banging somebody's door when you're opening up and get your groceries. I don't know. There's just little things that I was aware of because I've lived in condos before that I knew people would pay extra for. So
I think that that's so smart. And even as we go into this recession economy, as we're buying flips, like we got to be even more careful. And it's those unique things like that that you notice about a property that will help you on the backside to sell, because those are the unique features that in a market where things are going to start pricing lower, you got to start now standing out. Where a year ago you could flip anything and you're going to make money, right? And so now we're going into a new season. So down the road, Zasha, I would love to have you, and not right now, but talk a little bit how that how your criteria is changing a little bit in light of the fact that we're moving into a more uncertain economy. But before we get that one, I'm just curious. Like it sounds like most of it is because you've taken leadership, and your husband's kind of there as a support and a cheerleader. Is that pretty much true? Like he's pretty much there to support, but you're really taking the leadership of the investing side?
Yeah, so our businesses are totally separate. And so I am in charge of the investing side. He has nothing to do with that. He doesn't even do my own plumbing, and he's a plumbing contractor. So we keep things very separate. We've learned early on, especially from our own house, that, it's kind of better that way. It works for us, and he does his own thing. He also runs like a legit plumbing company. We have 7 employees, 10 trucks, a warehouse, 2 offices. So that's a whole nother business in itself.
Oh, do you guys send each other referrals at least?
Right?
No, I think, Corey, what I hear is Zasha saying her money's her money. So all these hundreds of thousands is like her money for shopping and doing what she like do. So, but that's awesome. So Zasha, I wanted to kind of hang there for a second, because there's a lot of folks that are trying to either flip or get into investing with their girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, or whatever relationship they're in. And sometimes it's hard because their spouse doesn't support them. And sometimes it's really a separate type of an endeavor, and that's exactly what you have. So they're supportive, your husband's supportive, but yet at the same time gives you a lot of autonomy at the same time as well. So that's pretty exciting. Anything that you would say as a word of advice to some investors who are like, I really want to bring in my spouse, but I'm not sure exactly the best way to bring them into getting involved because they're not super on board yet. A lot of us who want to quit our W-2 jobs, the first thing our spouse says is, well, then where's the money coming from, right? And so that's always a big hurdle. Or it's like, hey, it sounds exciting, but what would be your advice to somebody who's kind of thinking that through?
I think just running your numbers, showing them proof of concept. So, hey, these are some houses that sold in the area. This is what we could potentially purchase it for. Like, just like you would a partner, show them, oh, I got this contractor estimate. This is how much it's going to fix up. And this is how much potential we have to make. And this is me running numbers conservative. This is if, we get it on par, the average, or, maybe even higher, so that at least they feel like you've done enough of your own due diligence to feel comfortable. Okay, even though, maybe you're the one pursuing it, at least they have an understanding of the process and your thought process and the amount of money or profit that you could potentially make on it too.
Yeah, that's great. And it's more, and especially important if you're married and you share assets, because sometimes the loans that we get into are full recourse, they're personally guaranteed, and so our partners deserve that consideration and respect. It's like, yeah, we carry a lot of risk sometimes, right? And not everybody's comfortable with that. So that's awesome that he's supportive, and he's taking lead of both his job too and at home too, right? You guys both share those duties. So yeah, that's a dynamic too that is not easy to navigate for some, right? And but it seems, we just have to do the best we can while also pursuing our dreams and not giving up on our dreams or not stifling our partners, right?
Right. And I think that's the understanding that we have, is like, he does what he feels best for his company. I do what I feel best for our future and these rentals and investing, and we trust each other. So I think it all comes down to trust. Yeah.
And there's one of my mentors, it might've been, I think it was Anthony early on. He said something, it wasn't, he was aligned more for partnerships, but what he said was, if you're not growing together, you're growing apart. Right. So at some point, and actually Daniel and I were just talking in the office about this, and about how I think it was Ryan's coach. I don't know if Daniel's on, but he was saying that like business it's a great cultivator basically for development personally, right? Because in business you feel you get hit with triumphs and also setbacks and so many life lessons that forces you to grow as a person, right? So I and that's why I think I live for it. But for you, I mean, I'm looking at this photo and it seems so your family seems very important to you, and I know it's hard to balance sometimes, right? Like, and I think that's why Kekoa was asking those questions too, because we have families and we have to find that balance, and sometimes I'm guilty of it, right? I get immersed in it. So and I know you're a local girl, and so I know where you come from, and I know that it's not easy sometimes, because the aloha spirit, I feel that the local people in Hawaii, I think they confuse the aloha spirit for having to always have to live below your means and not enjoy the fruits of your success. And I don't agree with that. But for you, has it been hard as a local girl coming up now, getting spotlight and having to manage people as a woman? Is there any advice you give to other women entrepreneurs who might be in a position that you were in before, balancing family and obligations, but also trying to pursue your dreams and build a company that's going to feed you and your family forever?
Well, oftentimes I think even as entrepreneurs, it's our own journey, right? So no matter what anybody else says or anybody else's opinion, as long as you and your household, and even me and my husband, it was rough for us to get through this patch, but we had the same goal, was for me to quit my job. How am I going to do that? I need to get into something else. And so this was a pathway for me to get to that place where it's the same goal for both of us, but it looks a little different. It's a little scary, and to this day, I mean, I'm like, okay, sign this paper. We got to meet this notary. He's like, what am I signing? Are we okay? Are we in debt? Like, I'm like, you don't even want to know.
It sounds like Kekoa. I told him sign all kinds of stuff.
Right. But it's that trust that you build over time. Initially, it was very, very hard, especially because while I was working full time, I was running to projects on my lunch break, going to Lowe's, meeting contractors after work on the weekends, like doing dump runs, like doing the most. Like I didn't need to be doing all of that, but I felt like I had to have like a hand in it, or that's how I was getting experience. So I quickly learned after that first flip, like, I got to hire out. I got to find better systems and processes. And that's how I ended up joining Ryan Pineda's program. I've seen him on Instagram. And then on one of his stories, there was this guy with like a hat, backwards hat, and it had a Hawaiian flag. And I was like, oh, is that a Hawaiian? So I've like seen his Instagram tag and I reached out to him. He's actually on this call. Rads, where are you at? Radford. I don't know what his name is on here, but
it's Rads. What's up?
Oh, Rads. Oh, right there. Rads Felix. What up?
Oh,
so, hey, what's up, Corey?
Shout out to my boy.
Long time no see, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, you know Rads too?
Yeah.
Funny. Small world. Yeah. So I reached out to him. I was like, hey, I seen this guy. He's in Vegas and I need like a coach or something. And he's like, no, I fully trust this guy. And, with other locals, it's like, okay, if you get a referral, then it's probably good.
Right.
But ended up, and then now I'm doing 2 flips with Rads right now in Vegas, but I'm on the next slide. But shout out to him because I definitely appreciate his guidance in the beginning. Joined the mentorship program in December of 2019. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I should quit my job. He's like, dude, you just made $103,000 on a flip that took you 45 days. You make $70,000 at your job that takes you a whole year and you're busting your ass. Like, there's no question about it. Quit your job. So the next month I quit my job and my husband is like, what the hell? I've been telling you for so long. But sometimes, those mentors are people that are where you want to be, that give you instruction and you're like, okay, now you feel comfortable doing that, taking that action, because you know that they've done something similar and it worked out for them, so it can work out for you. So after 10 years, and it was difficult, right? Especially, I mean, if people are in a situation where they're working their job, maybe they don't like it, but bro, like putting myself through college 5.5 years with my daughter, like sacrificing that time, that degree meant a lot to me. So even that part of it was hard to give up. And then also our health insurance was through my job. But he was like, how much is your health insurance? And he was like, I was like, oh, like $1,800 a month. He was like, still yet, you made 145 days. Like you can afford to pay up for health insurance. I was like, okay, yeah. So where I'm at, you know, a couple years later is I reached my financial independence goal. I'm currently netting $10,000 a month, 26 gross from 9 long-term rentals, all here on Maui, and a short-term rental here. I'm a multimillionaire through equity in my rentals, and then also flips. I've done 17 in the last 3 years. My partnerships usually average a profit of between 50 to 100,000. I have 8 flips going on now, 2 with my boy Rads in Hawaii, Nevada, Colorado, Georgia, Arizona, all through people who I've literally connected with through Instagram. After that, we built rapport. We might have met at like in-person events and just kept in touch. And then now they're like, hey, Zasha, I got this deal. I know you're active. So that's one of the things that I wanted to touch base with, is like, Instagram is not to like show off, but to showcase what you're doing. And people can see that when people like people who are taking action. And that's how I honestly got my first private lender, was because he seen me hustling on Instagram on one of my stories where I just shared about me, you know, clearing out this land or like walking properties. Just even if you haven't bought any properties yet, just show how you're taking action and what you're doing, and other people will see that and they'll want to, you know, if they want to connect with you, they can. And people invest with other people that they like. Of course, you have to have proof of concept, be successful, do your background and really know what you're doing. But honestly, it's a relationship built, you know, any business is built on some sort of relationship. And then also I'm a general partner of 110 unit, 263 unit, 12 unit new builds, and all through connection in IG. This lady Harmony had seen my stories. Her sister lives on Maui, and she's like, you got to check out this girl. She's flipping in Maui. So she reached out. She's a private lender as well. I met up with her, and then the rates were a little bit high for me, but she was like, but we're getting into this company that you can be a general partner, which the company is a general partner itself. But if you're a JV in that company, you're now part GP of an entire deal. So I was like, okay, sign me up, I'm down. And so, I mean, that's through Instagram. And then the 13-acre RV park we have under contract, we're going to make 45 spaces, 15 glamping tents in Branson, Missouri, was another lady who I met through Instagram. She had been following me for a while. She's in Wealthy Women, which is another mentorship that I'm in. I'm one of the core members that helps other women get started, or really, it's not in a space for like learning how to invest. It's more so for women entrepreneurs, higher level, that have another space where they can really lean on other women kind of going through the same thing. Because I love Ryan Pineda, but he doesn't understand what it's like to be a mom, take care of these kids, and be an investor. So that's just a little, you know, different. So I never was like, oh, I'm a woman engineer, I'm a woman investor. I'm always like, no, I'm an investor, I deserve my spot. But I understand why they have these, you know, smaller groups to fit the needs of that particular role that you play in your life.
Yeah.
And then so for me, Instagram's where it's at as far as social media. That's what I focus on. And my journey to 100,000 followers, I'm here to, that's what I've done. And this is how I'm going to show you kind of how I got there, and then how, you know, you could potentially get there too. So I started my real estate investing account, IG account in 2019, bought the rental flip, joined Future Flipper. In 2020, everything was online. I quit my job January 31st of 2020, and then the world went up in smoke. So I was like, I actually had a multifamily under contract that I was going to wholesale. So I cleaned it out, put it on, had a buyer, and then that happened. He ended up shutting down his business. And so I ended up just refunding his EMD, and I was like, okay, time to put my big girl panties on. I wasn't ready for a multifamily, but I was like, I knew it was a good deal. So I ended up fixing it up, and it's like my best performing asset by far. I probably net around $4,000 a month net from that one property.
And that's on Maui?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
So after that, I bought a duplex, and then in September, I hit 100,000 followers. I was kind of making connections as I went, doing, not just like messaging like all these random people, just making very intentional connections with people. And then so 2021, I was like, okay, put my foot down. I got to take this content thing seriously. Ryan did as well. And he was telling all of us in his coaching program, like, dude, like you need to maximize you can maximize your reach through content. Like you can reach people all over the world. Everybody's on their phones now. They're all used to Zoom. So you don't have to go to a meetup and limit yourself to just the 20 people that are there. Like you can reach hundreds of thousands of people online. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. So I ended up getting to 5,000 followers. Then my goal was 10K by the end of the year. I hit it right before the end of the year. And then also, wow, like, buying rentals, doing flips, partnering more. And it was from those people who made me take action as well, that they wanted to partner. They wanted to be a part of whatever it is I was doing. So 2022 so far, we're going to the moon, baby. April, 20K, July, 50K, September 8th, we hit 100,000 followers. And it has allowed me to scale my real estate business. I'm doing 10 flips right now, all virtual with partners, and got involved in syndications, now under contract for these way bigger projects because people have felt, I built rapport with people online. So you can do all of this virtually by, and I'm going to show you the steps next. So how do you find partners on social media? Social media is like your resume, right? Like nobody's going to be like, hi, my name is Zasha Smith. You can go to my website and reach me. It's like people instantly go and look for you on some sort of social platform. So some tips I can give you is be easy to find. Use your name in the handle, because when people, they go on their Instagram account and they look up, okay, I remember I met this girl, Zasha. Let me just type in her name. Then you'll instantly pop up. So don't make it like Spear Fisherman 808 or anything like that, where it make it hard to notice like even what you do. So that's where your bio comes into play. Put in your bio like searchable keywords like real estate, what you're interested in, what you do, how you can help them. Like I help other people invest in real estate, and some of your results. I have a 6-7 figure portfolio, and that will help build rapport and be like your resume itself. And then start posting consistently. So try to post, I don't know how much everybody posts, but just post more. Like it doesn't hurt to post too much. Share your story, share your goals, struggles, wins, and tips. People want to know that you're a real human being. And it was funny because a lot of people that I meet in real life, they're like, oh, you're just like you are on Instagram. I'm like, yeah, I'm a hot mess, but I am successful. I don't know. But anyway, utilize platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one that I'm focusing on now. And that's to meet more professionals, right? My goal right now is to be a capital raiser. I'm trying to start a fund. I need to connect with higher level people that may have money or higher level jobs and careers and are doing what I want to do. So that's the place that they hang out. Instagram is great. That's how I have been able to raise, like, I think in the last year, 500,000. I've raised more than that the previous year, but I wouldn't say it's just from Instagram. It's a combination of people seeing me take action. They're like, okay, if even for realtors, right? I've gotten a lot of off-market properties, or what do you guys call them? Before they're listed?
Pocket listings.
Pocket listings, yeah. Or future opportunity listings, because people are like, oh my gosh, I see you're out here buying and you can close and things like that. When I first started, it was hard to like close on all these deals and like make sure I had enough money. But now I'm at that level to where I figured out some systems and processes, and now I'm able to do that and decipher what deals I can or cannot do. And then treat social media like a networking event. Surprisingly enough, Corey was my first IG live guest. So thank you.
Really?
Corey.
That was the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Oh, I'm honored.
Right. In September of 2021, you were my first guest. I was wanting to reach out to somebody who I knew would add value. You with Keiko Capital, I wanted to see how I could add value to you. So just think about when you reach out to these people on social media, they don't know who you are, but think about, hey, Corey, can we do a live? I want to let my audience know about your how to invest in real estate with hard money. I know you own a company, like we can talk about that as well. So find out how you can add value and what they're looking for, and then cater it towards that. And, you know, be yourself, be genuine, authentic, hot mess, whatever, mom, like struggling. People want to see the real side of you, not like the necessarily filtered side of you as well, but show your wins, but also show your struggles. Engage with other people through lives, Q&A, stories, DMs, build relationships, find leaders in the real estate space. So when I initially started, I was like on Brandon's Instagram, Brandon Turner, just like commenting on all his stuff, finding other people, Investor Girl Brit, who are very active in the content space and in the real estate space, to see, okay, maybe I'll become visible to them because now I'm adding value to them by, you know, engaging and really being, you know, when you comment, not like just like hearts or fire emojis or whatever, like comment actually whatever pertains to that post, and either give some tips that you've experienced or relate to them in some sort of way. And then, like always with everything else, just nurture that relationship and follow up, just like seller leads. And so recently, last month, I went to the Future Flipper Mastermind. Had no idea that I was going to be awarded on stage by Ryan for being one of his first coaching students, the highest affiliate in his program. And then also one of the people who anytime he asked me to do something, I'm like, okay, I'm going to figure it out. How can I fit in my schedule? Like, I'm going to be there for him because he's a mentor that helped me get started. So anybody else who is in your circle or who has helped you, you know, kind of level up or get to a higher position, like always find ways to give back to them, build that rapport, nurture that relationship, because it will come back to you tenfold. And here I'm with AJ Osborne and Investor Girl Brit and Heather, all who I've met through Instagram. I've done lives with them and connected that way before I ever met in person. And so once we met in person, it was like, oh, I feel like I know you already. You know, you've already built that rapport. It was kind of like the first touch, and then now you meet in person and you're actually, you know, you're actually relatable in that sense. So it's different when there's somebody at a mastermind that comes up to you. It's like, hey, Zasha, you know, talking to you, but somebody you've already had a connection with, you're more likely to respond to or, you know, build an even deeper connection that way. And same goes for bigger pockets. So BPCon, this was my first one that I went to, but prior to that, I had gone to, Brandon Turner invited me to his Maui mastermind, which through Instagram, like we've been communicating through Instagram a lot. He's shown up to a few of our Maui meetups here. But in all honesty, it was just, he was like, I just like your presence. And I feel like your content like speaks to everyone. And so even if you are posting and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to say or what to do, just talk about what you're doing right now. Like, hey, I'm on a webinar presenting at Keiko, or I just got off this call. This is how it felt. Like people just want to know, you know, what you're doing, especially if you're taking action. And you get like this yacht party thing. I got invited just because of my social influence. And then also on the right, these amazing girls, Soli, Sarah, a couple of Sarahs, and I had met them all through social media. We're just going back and forth like, hey, congrats. The girl in the middle, she just released her book. Like she's a full-time investor. She invests in midterm rentals, but she just released her book at that event. And I was like, and most of the girls in that picture were speaking at the event or on a panel at the event. So I was like, oh my gosh, you know, this, it's more than just like the real estate side you have to worry about just finding deals, but it's making those connections with people who are even doing more than that, speaking on stages, writing books, just like having podcasts and things like that, that reach like a lot of people. So if you think of it bigger picture that way, why you're making content, then it'll make it easier for you to put it out there and who you want to connect with. And don't forget to watch my Bigger Pockets video. Please scan the little barcode if you can. Like the video, leave a comment on it because I want them to bring me back on. I always feel, I was telling Corey, like, man, I didn't do, like, I should have said this or I could have said that. And, you know, we're our own worst critics. So I had put it down on my vision board that, okay, I want to be on Bigger Pockets, but I thought, okay, maybe Rookie, or maybe I can be like, you know, on one of their like smaller skit stuff. And I mean, you know, those big, what is it? Big, hairy, audacious goals, just put them out there, like put them out on social media to help keep you accountable, and people will see that and want to help you. So the producer of Bigger Pockets, he was like, okay, a few people mentioned you already, but I seen on your, he said, I seen on your Instagram, one of your goals was to be on Bigger Pockets. So let's make that happen.
Awesome.
So, I know, right? It's like,
Yeah.
okay. So these are just little tips for people, and I want to kind of just quickly get through the rest. There's only a few more slides, but I just want to stress the importance of not only like, you know, reaching up to try to be like those people or get to where they're at, but also, you know, help the people up who are just starting or maybe at your level and see how you can add value to them too. Because this is a perfect quote from Maya Angelou: when you learn, teach, when you get, give. Like, just constantly be giving. And I think that Go Giver book is like my favorite book because it just talks about like you give without expecting anything back, right? And that's the most genuine thing that you can do. Oh, sorry, were you gonna say something? Okay.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So virtual evolution. So this is how you can turn, or a supporter can become a partner. So a follower can become a partner with you on deals. So these are tips on what I can give to you to find compatible partners, because I found 8 people that I met virtually that I'm now partnering with, and it's been pretty good. It's very hands-off for me, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to build a huge team of having a big flipping company or wholesaling company. Like, I want to partner with people to scale. And so whenever you're looking for a partner, if they bring you a deal, make sure the numbers are backed by some sort of research. Make sure there's multiple exit strategies. They did their due diligence, checked with a realtor on, get a comparative market analysis of the value of what the property is worth now, and then what it's worth when it's fixed up. And then if they have bids from contractors, like make sure that they have all those things in place to verify their numbers. I mean, it's still an estimate, but at least you know that they did a lot of legwork before they brought it to you, instead of like, oh, can we partner on a deal? It's like, okay, where's the deal? Oh, I think this property is on Zillow. Okay, that's not gonna work. Like, you know, they gotta have done more research before they bring it to you. You're not just gonna partner with anybody who asks you to partner on the internet. Vet their character and morals, like check their morals and integrities, make sure they're aligned with you. And a lot of times I make sure that the people I partner with, we have a mutual affiliation. So like Rad's knew Ryan, and these people, most people that I partner with are in some sort of mentorship that I'm in. So these, they're in Pace's mentorship, I'm in there. So there's another person to kind of help hold them accountable if, you know, things kind of go south. And then lastly, define roles, responsibilities, and expectations in writing. So you want to make sure that, hey, okay, my role as a capital raiser, I'm going to raise the money for this deal, bring the gap funding, or qualify for the loan, or do something along that lines, handle escrow, make the monthly payments, set up utilities. Your job is boots on the ground, manage a contractor, schedule, all of that stuff. But make sure it's done in writing, because I have quickly learned through partnerships is that there might be some miscommunication or misunderstanding. So it's always good to bring it up right from the beginning. And so Lynn and David, they're in the previous picture. They lived in California. I lived in Hawaii. Our flip was in Dallas. So we were both out-of-state investors. I met them through IG and then Pace's program, and we've never met in person. So we completed a flip together, never met in person, but we hopped on a call. We made sure that we were in alignment with the same things. They wanted to do it because they wanted to partner with an experienced investor who could walk them through issues that arise, and they didn't feel comfortable doing it on their own. So that's the benefits of partnering with somebody experienced, is that even though, you know, you might be bringing the deal, being the boots on the ground, they could handle the money situation, or they could back you up if anything else were to go sideways, say with the contractor or something like that. And they didn't have to bring any of their own money. So those are different ways that you can partner. This is a way that I like to partner, because most of the time, the projects that I work on aren't in Hawaii anymore. And so this is why I do it. Is like, I could be doing things on my own, be making way more money, or like, you know, building out a team, but I love this part. I love when I work with somebody and they kind of take off, like that's their take off launch point, right? They become comfortable and enough to be doing those deals themselves. I would love to do another deal with them, but I'm not going to hold them to it. It's like, okay, now they got the experience, now they can fly. And so they sent me this letter, which was like, at the time it was, I was going through a little bit of rough patch. So it meant so much to me that they recognized the value and just did something a little bit more to make me feel appreciated.
That makes it worth it.
Yeah.
Makes it all worth it.
And I sent this to you, Corey, because I remember I was feeling down. So, okay. And then just a little backstory. I just have a few more slides, but a little backstory to this as well is that I think, Corey, you brought it up in the beginning, is that not everybody's going to understand your journey. And so while I was attending the Maui Mastermind, you know, it was during the week, and usually my masterminds are out of state. So I'm never here. But this one, it was like, I was gone at 6 a.m., coming home at 10, 11 p.m. for a whole week. And so it was hard for my husband to like juggle the kids. And he was a little bit, you know, upset some nights and was like, oh, why do you come home so late? And then also my mom was something happened with one of her friends, and she was asking me to be there. I said, I have this really important mastermind. I don't think you understand like how huge this is. And she was like, well, you know, keep your feet on the ground, stay humble. All these people with money, you know, and it's not anything bad to say about her, but she was just like, all these people with money, you know, they want something from you, so don't change. And I'm like, Mom, I have money. Like, I'm not like, I don't know, but it's their, you know, that local perception or mindset that some reason as you build wealth that you're going to change, but it only amplifies who you already are.
Yes. Yes. Money doesn't change you, it reveals you, right? And that's a good point. Like I had another conversation recently, telling someone this, and it's because like sometimes we do have to guard our dreams from those we love, who love us the most, not because they have any ill intent or or jealousy. It's just a lot of times it's they're afraid for you. You know, they're afraid you're going to change. They're afraid you're going to fail. You know, they're afraid that you're going to forget about them, possibly. You know, so like that's why we stay true to who we are, and you're doing it the right way, Zasha.
Thank you. Well, and then another unexpected surprise that can come from social media is affiliate or referral income. So to date, I've helped 100+ people invest in real estate and created another stream of income through referrals. So this year alone, I've made $86,000 from referrals, whether that be a program like PropStream, whether that be a coaching program like Ryan's or Pace's, whether that be what is it called? Avail that helps manage rental properties. Like there's so much ways to make money online, and also Instagram pays you for your reels. So this is another plus of putting yourself out there, getting recognized, but like it's okay to make money, and it's okay to help other people and still make money. I think that's what we learned, especially at Profit First. the event was like, it's okay, you're still helping other people. And that's one thing that I like to stress, especially being local here in Hawaii. People are like, oh, investors, they're buying up all these homes, but a lot of times we buy homes that are not livable or are vacant and nobody's living in them anyway. So I like to stress that how you can give back is, one, if you're flipping, you can sell to somebody that's not the highest buyer. You can work with a local family. You can work with somebody, you know, who is in a tight situation that might not have all their ducks in a row, but really wants this house for their family. You know, there's so many different ways you can give back that way. Or if you own rental properties here, you can rent to Section 8 or people on rental assistance. Like, that's the ways you can give back while still building your wealth.
Yes. You can give back by just educating too, right? Like how you're doing on Instagram every day. People are learning, they're being inspired, they're coming into the field, because real estate is where the majority of Americans should be investing, right? Because, and I've said this a few times now, we have to remember what street we play on, you know, like Wall Street or Main Street, right? And most of us here, we're Main Street players. We invest in tangible assets. We have collateral on our investments, you know, and we have multiple exit strategies. You know, many of us didn't grow up on Wall Street. We didn't go to Ivy League school. We're not in the good old boys club, right? So why do majority of Americans put their money and play on Wall Street and get slaughtered? You know, so I think it's our duty, especially me and you, Zasha, are local, right? Born and raised local, because the mindset here in Hawaii, unfortunately, there is a lot of ignorance to money and how it works. And I've been fortunate, and Zasha's been fortunate to have been awoken. And we've learned these strategies that can change people's lives, you know, and not just that, change the stigma of investing in real estate, because it's a very easy and victim mentality, you know, a very easy path to take, to just throw our hands up and say, oh, we're getting priced out. All these investors, they're causing the market to go up, or it's causing it to go down. You know, it's not because of real estate investors. It's not because of developers. It's not because of politicians. You know, it's not because of entrepreneurs. It's simple economics, supply and demand, you know, and we cannot control the supply and demand. That's the market, right? So if we cannot control that, then how do we keep people from not getting priced out of their home here in Hawaii? We do that by educating them. We have to teach them the knowledge that we've been passed to us, to local people, and not just the knowledge so that they can go and pursue their dreams and pursue financial freedom and earn their right to live in paradise. It's not just that, it's also being loud about it. You know, like how you are, Zasha, you have a big following now, and now you can influence many people, especially local people here, to understand money and not be ashamed to make money, not be ashamed to talk about money. You know, we should take pride in it, because we're taking back our land. You know, that's how we take back our land. That's how we keep local people living in Hawaii, is education. And the only way we do that is you have to put yourself out there. You have to dedicate and give your energy and everything you got to a new investor, even though they have nothing to give at that moment in their career. Give it anyways. That's my duty. That's my legacy. That's what I'm in this for. You know, I see the problem. I was middle class, regular, just like actually you are even coming from housing, and you know, so you have a powerful background. You know what that's like to be living in Hawaii, surviving, just surviving, you know. So I think the way we change this and keep local people local is educating, you know, and letting people know it's okay to make money. You know, the more money we have, the bigger impact we can make, you know, and then we purge all the sour apples, you know, from our industry, you know, name and shame, name them all. Like, I don't want to do business with any of them, because I'm on a crusade, you know. I want to teach as many people as we can. And I think for local people, Zasha, people like you and I, investors on this call, we have that opportunity to inspire local people to actually take ownership of their lives. And if they want to live in paradise, they're going to have to pay the price. And the price they're going to have to pay is not just USD currency. It's you're going to have to grow and learn and get uncomfortable, take risk, be scared, right? So, but no, they're not going to do that unless we inspire them, unless we give them a little bit of steps so that it gives the confidence. It's like someone's got my back. Somebody wants me to win, you know. So your story is so powerful, Zasha, because you're not only are you a born and raised local girl who's done big things now, but now you have influence of a lot of people, and with that you can make a huge impact. So I wish we had more time, because I mean, I feel like we only scratched the surface, but I thank you for our friendship, Zasha, and thank you for always coming on our calls and providing value. And is there anything you'd like to say for the rest of the group before we start to wrap?
If any of you guys need help, reach out to me on Instagram. Here's my Linktree QR code. We're all about QR codes now. These young ladies are teaching me. But if you want to partner, have a deal that is good, you bring it to me. I'd be more than happy to look it over. We're also looking for private lenders for our RV park deal that we have going on right now. So if you're interested as well, send me a message. But other than that, reach out to me anytime. I'm always an open book. And when I can get to you, I would love to help you on your journey.
Thank you so much, Zasha, for sharing. And everybody go follow her if you aren't already, and watch her journey. It's been quite the thing to witness. Honestly, very inspiring. And thank you again for sharing, Zasha. I hope everybody has a great weekend. And man, I can't believe October is almost finished, but we got 2 more months left in the year. So hopefully everyone knows too, in real estate, right? We're kind of if you got 2023 goals, you got to start working towards them right now. It starts in fourth quarter, really, right? Because it takes, to close one deal, it could take 30 days, 30, 45 days, right? So we got to get the momentum going right now. So, oh man, I totally missed the chat, but I'm going to hang out for like a few minutes after, guys. If you want
shout out to my mama, Tia. She's on the call.
Oh,
hey,
mom's on the line. Hi, Mom.
Aloha, Mom. Wow.
She is the reason why I am who I am. I'm very blessed and honored to be her daughter.
Oh, well,
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Zasha, you're doing it right, and I think you're making all of us proud as colleagues, because when there's one sour apple, it ruins it for all of us, and we need to purge those people out of our industry, and you are carrying us forward. So thank you again for sharing. Thanks for coming on, Mom. Yeah. Well, everybody, I hope everyone has a great weekend. Happy Aloha Friday, and we'll see you guys next week. Aloha, everybody.